to begin, how to start. I'm hungry. I should get coffee. Coffee would help me think. But I should write something first, then reward myself with coffee. Coffee and a muffin. Okay, so I need to establish the themes. Maybe banana nut. That's a good muffin.
Script writing. It's not an easy step in filmmaking, but it's an essential step. It's the first step. Well, the first step after you've come up with a storyline idea. The script outlines all the important elements such as locations, characters, action, dialogue, and sound effects, just to name a few. So, it can be a little overwhelming when thinking about how to break down a storyline idea into all these different but important elements. Often it can lead to writer's block. And a lot of films love to show writer's block. You know, lots of paper thrown in bins, staring at blank paper, writers talking to themselves, drinking, occasionally going nuts and attempting to kill their family. But look, anyway, I digress.
Here's Johnny!
So, anyway, I can't cure writer's block, although you could always try free writing, mind mapping, watching a bazillion films, removing all distractions, just for a couple of suggestions. But in this video, I will discuss all the vital elements of a script that need to be in your own short film script, and in this video, we'll be using the 2002 version of Spider-Man to show you how to shape a script. Now, superhero movies are pretty much invading our cinemas and TV screens on a weekly basis nowadays, and prior to the Avengers breaking all box office records, there was The Dark Knight, and before that, Spider-Man started the superhero movie trend. Well, most would actually argue the X-Men film released in 2000 started it all, but I'd go as far as saying it was Blade in 1998 that really started the trend. But it was Spider-Man that hit the mainstream with an, at the time, record-breaking $114 million opening weekend that went on to make nearly $822 million worldwide at the box office, actually beating out a Star Wars film that was also released that year, although that shouldn't really be that surprising.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
So, we're just going to quickly look at the opening scene of Spider-Man and compare this scene to the original script written by David Coeb, so that we can acknowledge the formatting and other elements essential to filmmaking.
Who am I? You sure you want to know? The story of my life is not for the faint of heart. If somebody said it was a happy little tale, if somebody told you I was just your average, ordinary guy, not a care in the world, somebody lied. But let me assure you, this, like any story worth telling, is all about a girl. That girl. The girl next door. Mary Jane Watson. The woman I've loved since before I even liked girls. I'd like to tell you that's me next to her. Heck, I'd even take him.
Hey! Stop the bus!
That's me.
Hey! Tell him to stop, please! Stop! Hey! Stop the bus!
Stop the bus!
Stop!
He's been chasing us since Woodhaven Boulevard.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late.
Don't even think about it.
You're so lame, Parker.
Okay, so based on the script that we've been given by David Coeb, the scene was supposed to open with a black screen. From here, we included the instruction, fade in from black. Now this is one of the most important elements of your script, adding the slug line. Right? The slug line establishes locations, day or night, and whether we're shooting inside or outside. In this case, it's an exterior, school bus, during the day. These are important factors to know, because if it's during the day or night, or whether it's inside or outside, can have a massive impact on a film's budget. Filming outside at nighttime obviously means more equipment, more lighting, more people to control that equipment, and naturally paying additional money for those people to actually work throughout the night. After the slug line, it's always important to have some good descriptive actions. In this case, it's very short and simple. A yellow school bus roars through Queens. Now, throughout the entire scene, we have a voiceover from Spider-Man, played by Tobey Maguire. And in the script, we always establish any person talking by having their name smack bang in the middle in capital letters. In this case, we put down Spider-Man because that is all we know this character as for now. Parentheticals is where this plays a big part. Parentheticals are essentially items written inside brackets that give instructions to the actor as to how they're supposed to deliver their line or how this line will be heard. In this case, we put down the VO to indicate that this is a voiceover. This is important from the filmmaker's perspective because this establishes that we can hear what is being said, but we can't actually see the person who is speaking these lines.
Who am I? You sure you want to know? The story of my life is not for the faint of heart. If somebody said it was a happy little tale, if somebody told you I was just your average ordinary guy not a care in the world, somebody lied.
Okay, so just quickly notice how the dialogue is indented on both sides of the script. This is to help to clearly separate action from dialogue.
But let me assure you, this, like any story worth telling, is all about a girl.
We are now moving from outside the bus to the inside the bus, which means we require a new slug line. An important thing to remember is every time you move to a new scene, you need to use a new slug line. And in this case, it's interior school bus during the day. Some more descriptive action is now going to actually explain what the camera will show us as an audience. A bus full of teenagers. We float down the center aisle, drifting from face to face. Now, we're about to introduce Mary Jane Watson, a new character. Now, whenever we introduce a character, we always make sure that their names are written in capital letters. This is regardless of whether they're speaking dialogue or whether it's written as a descriptive action in the script. This is important from an actor's perspective to identify who they are, where they appear in the script, and what they might be saying or doing at any given time. So, Mary Jane Watson's face fills the screen. Knockout pretty, but eyes sad. Too sad for 17. Looking out the window of a yellow school bus. Spider-Man's voiceover.
That girl. The girl next door. Mary Jane Watson. The woman I've loved since before I even liked girls.
An arm drapes around MJ's shoulder. Flash Thompson, once again in capital letters, self-assured, handsome, the high school big name. He's looking across a bus out the window, howling with laughter. Spider-Man's voiceover.
I'd like to tell you that's me next to her.
Further back, another kid messily eating a jelly donut. Spider-Man's voiceover.
Heck, I'd even take him.
So as we see, so far a lot of the description of the action has been short and sweet. Now we're about to introduce one of our main characters, so you'll notice that there's a lot more detail in this descriptive action than has been in previous elements of the script. We turn, look out the window, see what they are laughing about. Peter Parker, 17, bespectacled and book-bagged, chasing after the school bus, to the derision of everyone aboard. MJ can't take it anymore. She jumps up, hurries to the front of the bus, and shouts over the laughter to the driver. MJ.
The bus! He's been chasing us since Woodhaven Boulevard.
Now, notice this had no parentheticals. It was just a straightforward line and didn't require any particular direction. There is a collective oar as the bus slows down. At the front of the bus, Peter climbs onto the bus, breathless and limping. Peter.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm late.
He eyes an open seat next to a geeky girl. With a mouthful of braces, she makes eye contact with Peter, moves her books to occupy the vacant space. Geeky girl.
Don't even think about it.
Peter moves on. He makes his own way down the aisle. MJ sits down next to Flash again, next to the window this time. When she's not looking, Flash slides his foot out in front of Peter's beat-up sneakers. Peter trips and falls hard, face down in the aisle. On the floor, Peter lifts his head, looks at Flash and MJ. Flash is grinning, MJ is staring down at him with pity. Peter looks at her, helpless, glasses dangling from one ear. End scene. Now, for your own script, it's important that you remember some of these key elements for your own script writing purposes. Sluglines to indicate locations and important elements such as whether it is day or night, inside or outside. Character names are in capitals both for dialogue and screen instructions. Descriptive actions are always taking up the length of the page, whilst dialogue is always indented at the center of the page. And of course, parentheticals are important for instructions when it comes to how a line of dialogue is supposed to be delivered. If you are struggling with some of these formatting requirements for a professional looking script, might I suggest you download the Celtic script app. It's a fantastic app for creating scripts because it simplifies the process by properly formatting your script as you go along. I'm not getting paid to promote this app, I'm just a fan. This is Chris Gooch for Random Ramblings, signing off.